The date is November 27th, 2012, and it is Tell Me Tuesday here on your daily dose of D&D. Hey guys, welcome to your daily dose of D&D. It is Tell Me Tuesday, the day where I get to talk about campaigns and characters that I have played. Today's character is one of my favorites that I've ever run, and his name is Kanashtar the Kalashtar. He was a cleric that was spec'd first for perception, and then second for healing, and he was crazy. And that was the essentialness of his character. As I said last week, with a shaman, there were a couple of things that I learned that I liked. I loved being able to make perception checks, so Kanashtar was spec'd for it. He was trained in it, he had focused in it, he had items that supported it, he was a wisdom-based class, he was as strong as I could make him, and he had like a 28, I think, at level 16 was his perception score, with a 38 passive, so he was able to blitz through anything. But, just so I wasn't making it unfair to the DM, and because I thought it was kind of fun, I made him crazy, where he noticed things that weren't actually there, and he would not tell people that he saw things. And so when somebody ran into a trap, he would be like, "Oh, why did you fall into that? Did you not see it?" And they were like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, I thought you did." And so people were supposed to like ask him if he saw anything, but nobody really did. And so I had to change up a little bit of what he was doing, but make him go, "Huh, did anyone else see the giant floating badger?" And people would be like, "No." He's like, "Oh, okay. So the tripwire that he's dancing on probably doesn't mean anything either." People were like, "What? A tripwire?" And, okay, we better not trip on that. And I don't know why I was looking up there for tripwire. Kanashtar had a lot of very fun moments, most of which took place in one of Kevin's campaigns. Kevin was really good at making extremely interesting and awesome campaigns. And he was probably the best DM that our group had before he moved away to Fargo. Stupid education opportunities. In this campaign, there was like this great evil coming, and someone had invited us to go and stop it, and somebody tried to kill him, and I healed him for like amazing. Then he turned on us and had me attack something, and that was a lot of fun with how that played out. Also, with my craziness, I got to do some very, very fun stuff, where I was able to, interpret a guard's insults for one of our characters, whose name was Trog, and he was a slayer. And then once he realized that the guy was insulting him, or his box, he beat somebody to near death with a coffin. So the really fun thing was towards the end of the campaign, when we were fighting the Space Squid, Astro Kraken as it was probably actually called, and we'd just gotten it bloodied, and people are fighting it as hard as they can. We've been waiting for weeks to play this fight, and it's bloodied, it's almost dead, and so the Astro Kraken grabs me and pulls me up close, and reaches into me and forces me to use powers on it, I think the attack, the squid's attack was meant for one of its enemies to attack another enemy, but it grabbed me and like, "Let me see your encounter powers." "Ah, you use healing word on me." And I'm like, "What? Crap. Heal, take a healing surge plus 52. And everyone's like, "What? Matt, why did you, the squid made me." And so suddenly it wasn't bloodied anymore. And I think that only happened like 2 or 3 times during that fight, which was good that we finally won, because if we, had let it run on any longer, our drow hexblade assassin-y guy probably would have killed me to keep it from healing. Yeah, what fun. Afterwards, we got to talk with the king, which was effectively me running distraction, because with my high wisdom, I also had a high charisma, and I was the party face. I was the only guy in the party who would go out and talk to people, and that was a lot of fun. It was a very, very fun campaign. It was fun to play Kanashtar. If I was making the character again, there would be things that I would do a little bit differently. I know before I had a background that was just kind of, one that would give me perception, the first one that I really found. I have a lot more options now with the online character builder, and it's a lot easier for me to find things. So I would do that a bit differently, but a lot of the things would just stay the same. And I have made him in a D&D Next, or 5th edition if you prefer. And he's going to change his race, because the race doesn't make him who he is. It's his spect perception and his spect healing. And in D&D Next, they don't have Kalastars yet, but their elves do allow you to roll twice for a lot of perception checks, and that's really cool. And so, he's going to have changes made to his character that aren't character essential, but are awesome. That was Kanashtar the Kalashtar. It is Tell Me Tuesday here in the DM's Corner, where I talk about the campaigns that I have run, which, when we look into the future, is a little bit concerning, because I've only run 3 campaigns total in D&D, and maybe 6 campaigns when you add all the other RPGs that I've done. And so I'm very quickly running out of material for this segment. If you can think of something that you would prefer to see here on a Tuesday, preferably something that has, you know, what's the word, alliteration with the letter T, please leave it in the comments below. But today we're talking about the second campaign I run, which was concerning the Amulet of Ultimate Evil. And in this campaign, I was trying to do something unique with how I brought the party together. I had requested that everyone play a divine character of some kind. Not necessarily divine power source, but a religious character. You know, very, very devout to their god. And so we had a paladin and a priest, not a priest, an Avenger, and we had Tanith, who is a Minotaur barbarian cleric, and we had a witch who had a, you know, probably illicit relations with a different god that a lot of people haven't heard of. And it was just a lot of fun to see all these different characters and all their takes on somebody who was religious. Because there's a lot of different ways you can play that up. And what I did is I typed out, you know, maybe a couple of paragraphs on how their god brought them into the campaign, because it was something that concerned a lot of the good gods. And so I actually have them online somewhere. So if you click on the link down below in the description, you can read the things that I put out. I don't even think I changed most of them. And they're just interesting ways. And so at the beginning, instead of saying you guys start in a tavern, or trying to roleplay all of these things and bring them all into one place, I just handed them their papers, gave them 5-10 minutes to read, and started with, okay, so it's the morning of the solstice, and you guys are here. And it allowed me to do both the hey, we're starting immediately, and the hey, we're bringing people together. And I liked it a lot. And I didn't use it for my third campaign, but I did something a little bit different anyway. And so with that, though, one of the cool things I did was I gave people different information in their stuff. Some people learned that some people learned who the bad guy was. Other people learned what he could do, and a lot of interesting stuff. But I split the information, so not everybody had the full picture, and they had to tell what they saw and what they knew from their character. Introduction's not the right word. Their character invitation. And it let them work together as a party, each having their own unique information, without having to worry about metagaming, where I went and talked to all of them at the table and brought them in story-wise, where they could, like, eavesdrop and learn. Because, you know, we do that as players, or they do that as players, because I'm a DM at the moment. But that was a really fun way to do it. I also did a lot of very fun stuff. One of the characters, Tanith, it was a lot of fun to have in a campaign. It's interesting because he has so much lore in our group. He probably has more lore than anyone else. He has an airship, and so it was very easy for me to be able to say, okay, you guys are starting here, and you need to go to this Earth mode, this floating island in the sky. Hey, look, someone has hey, look, someone in the group has an airship. Well, that made that convenient, and so they were all just able to load up on the airship and go fly over to the other place. And so when they got to the other place, I tried to do some fun combat encounters. I used these large sheets of post-it notes with squares on them, so I can draw stuff out before, though it looks like crap. It's nice to be able to just lay down a map that's got colors on it and stuff. I need to do more of those. I tried to do some fun combat. I had someone who had a wand of mice that had a power that could that fired stuff in a line, and anybody it hit would turn into a small rodent until the start of their turn or something like that. Because the wizard that had this rod had a pet hawk that was off, a hawk familiar, and so when I turned somebody into a mouse, the hawk got an immediate reaction where he swooped down and grabbed someone. And that was pretty funny the first time it happened. Yeah, that was great. Because they even did like fall damage when they turned back and fell. But they reclaimed the amulet from the evil guy and went back to the priest who could destroy it. And when they were talking to him, there were all these skill challenge type things that they could pick up on. Like rituals not being done, blood on the floor, someone talking with an entirely different attitude. And Tanith had the magical amulet. And Minotaurs are fun in our group because they're, I don't want to say dim-witted, but they're very brave, they're very noble, and Tanith does not roll insight checks. He role-plays them. And so, when this guy's lying to them, Tanith totally believes it, because he hasn't said anything that sounded him off, and now the rest of the party knows this guy is not what he appears, and is trying to, like, gather evidence to tell Tanith. And my brother actually is like, hold on a minute, Tanith, rolls his insight check, it's a nat 1. No, wait, everything seems fine. And so Tanith is about to give in to the guy, and somebody starts the combat encounter, and the wizardy, undead, illusionist, whatever exactly it was, did a couple of fun stuff, though it wasn't a very well thought out combat, because I'm not very good at that, but he did make someone else appear to look like him, and then teleport away and turn invisible. So Tanith attacked the guy who looked like it. The rest of the encounter wasn't anything notable, though I did add a little bit to Tanith's lore by giving him this Amulet of Ancient Evil, or something like that, or I don't remember what exactly I call it, that whispers to him and tries to get him to do evil things. And it's very fun, because I get a roleplay with Tanith, and Tanith is fun to roleplay with. It's one of the things that Paul is really good at, being a very, very clueless Tanith. That was supposed to be a compliment! If I could run that campaign differently, though, I would. The beginning stuff, pretty much all my combat encounters sucked. They were horrible, they should have been much better. And so I will do them much better the next time I run that, because I would like to run that again. However, if I do run it again, I would probably need someone like Tanith as an NPC, because it was extremely convenient to have an airship. Though there are challenges with an airship, and I should talk about those sometime. I don't know exactly when I should. All in all, it was a fun campaign. I didn't learn a lot from running it. I was just confirming knowledge that I was learning from just playing D&D in general. But it was a good experience, and it was a much smaller bite for me to chew, and it was much more easily digestible, and I was able to learn about how much work you need to put into it. And there's a lot of work that you have to put in as the DM that the player doesn't necessarily see, but it's there. Closing remarks today, I got 2 phone calls while recording this, though it's my second time recording it today, because I recorded a half hour of stuff before, and I needed to just do it more concise so that I could edit it down to a small enough thing. I could spend hours talking about my characters, but you probably don't want to hear about that. Anyway, thanks for joining me on the Daily Dose of D&D. If you have any thoughts, questions, or comments on this video, please leave them in the comment section below. Even if you've already commented about something else, if you have any thoughts, please let me know. It helps me keep things running. If you liked this Daily Dose of D&D, there's a subscribe button somewhere up top if you're on the YouTube page, and you have a YouTube account, I think is a qualification for seeing that subscribe button. But if you hit that, you can have it show up straight in your YouTube inbox subscriptions page, and that's pretty cool to see this every day. That way you know you haven't missed anything. If you like the video, there's a like button down below. I know that sounds like Tobuscus. I'll have to come up with a better way of doing it. And that just makes it a little bit easier for people to find me. Also, if you honestly liked what I did in this video, please hit the like button. It gives me a little bit of feel-goodiness and helps me keep running on this, because I do want to do this as a continuing series. And the more you guys feed my ego, the better that will work. Seriously. So, this has been Mamat1Cal on your Daily Dose of D&D. Stay online. I will see you guys next time.